Okay, Pat, Arkansas has the ball. We're just underway, and we'll set the starting lineup for you. This is Dwight Stewart with the ball, Scotty Thurman, and the pass underneath to Corey Beck. He's harassed defensively, and in the corner, it's going to be a turnover. Arkansas loses control. Robert Shepard has it go out of bounds, and the Carolina Tar Heels under Dean Smith will inbound. Let's set the starting lineup now. First of all, for North Carolina with the ball right now, number 14, Derek Phelps. Number 34, George Lynch. Eric Montross, number 00. They're joined by Donald Williams, number 21, and Brian Reese, number 31. Hell ball, possession arrow, Arkansas. And a quick check of the starting lineups for the Razorbacks, who come in seated number 4 with a 22-8 record. They've got Corey Beck, number 14, Dwight Stewart, number 15, Robert Shepard, number 20, Darrell Hawkins, number 21, and Scotty Thurman, number 30. Those are the 10 men who are on the floor right now. Montross goes to the steal, out of bounds, and Arkansas will inbound.
Well, you take a look at what has to happen for Arkansas, giving up so much size to Carolina. They've got to quick hit North Carolina with dribble penetration and knocking down spot-up jump shots.
Stewart got it. That's for 3. Only his 8th three-pointer of the season. On the line, Carolina, Razorback ball.
It has to be a fast game for Arkansas. They need to speed up tempo, and they'll try to do that by pushing the ball and applying tremendous pressure defensively.
This is Corey Beck, the sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee. Shepard, 6-0 Arkansas. That was a three-pointer. And here is the full court pressure. Montross, Beck goes for the steal, fouls George Lynch.
The Arkansas foul for number 14, Corey Beck. That's his first team.
First team, first personal, of course. Now Donald Williams, who has excelled here in the latter part of the season, inbounds the ball to Derek Phelps. Phelps, who sat out the last game in the ACC tournament because of a bruised tailbone, says he's about 90% right now. Montross.
That's a major concern of Arkansas's, how they handle Eric Montross. Here you take a look. Some say he is stronger than ammonia. And the big fella to the rim.
Oh, dear. 6'2".
He goes 7 feet, 270. There's nothing extra. His improvement since the time he stepped foot onto the North Carolina campus is off the charts, Vern, in terms of how good he has become. He shoots it well with both hands in the paint. And he's not just big and strong, although that is his great asset. He has tremendous touch, feel, and understanding of what it is he does, and really doesn't concern himself with what people think about him.
That's a shot. No good. Montross with a putback. He's going to be a real problem for Arkansas tonight.
That's why the game has to be fast. And then Arkansas has to do a job at least competing on the board.
Shepard with a runner. And it's an 8-4. Arkansas lead. Montross turns to his right. Too strong with a shot. Robert Shepard comes down with it. Corey Beck saves that errant pass. Takes it in. Montross rebound.
You bump into Montross and you go backwards. You don't move him.
Phelps. Back to Williams off the double team. Rims out. Nolan Richardson.
Boy, what a joy it was to watch Arkansas work out yesterday and see Nolan Richardson right there on the court in a defensive stance, really imploring his team to get after it in practice. They probably had the most entertaining workout of the 4 teams here.
And Dean Smith was down in the corner of the gym watching it all.
Sneaking a peek.
Yep. Stewart kicks it out right wing. Shepard, double team, the trap works. Off Stewart, Arkansas loses the ball. It'll be North Carolina's to inbound. 16:46 remaining in the first half of play.
Carolina would like to establish Montross inside and take advantage of their size and strength on the backboard.
Scotty Thurman knocks it out of bounds. Nolan Richardson, now in his 8th year at Arkansas. They have gone by quickly.
Good matchup here. Phelps on Beck. Beck, a solid on-the-ball defender.
Williams guarded by Shepard. Shot away is off the front iron. Saved by Darrell Hawkins of the Razorbacks. Here's Scotty Thurman. Thinks about the three. Finds in the left side Shepard. That's for two just inside the line. Terrific ball movement that time.
It never touched the floor. They didn't need to check the air in it. Moved it wisely and got the good open shot.
Then 4. Spot up for the three. Williams comes inside. Good denial, and Lynch goes off the glass for 2 for Carolina. 10-6 with 15:40 to go first half. Stewart off the mark. Reese. No basket. Offensive foul on Brian Reese. And right now, let's go back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Vern, thank you. A nail-biter for back to Arkansas, North Carolina. 12-6 now. Here's Vernon Clark.
All right, Patrick. Corliss Williamson got that last jumper in off the bench for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And one substitution for North Carolina during the timeout. Pat Sullivan, number 3, is in. Here's Williams from the corner for 3.
Always a key player for Carolina because his outstanding perimeter shooting opens things up inside for Montross and Lynch.
Williamson on the corner is Hawkins. No. And the rebound, Derek Phelps. Phelps 2-on-1. Finds Lynch. And the basket cuts the lead to 12-11.
In a game of this pace, both benches will be significant.
Another three-pointer for the Razorbacks. It's Robert Shepard. And the lead is 4 at 15-11.
Maybe you didn't see it, but Darrell Hawkins set a monster screen on the wing guy coming out, and that allowed Shepard to have all day to shoot that 3.
Lynch kicks it back out to Sullivan. Tries to find Montross. Does. Back it goes to Phelps. Kissed it and went in. I don't know if he intended that.
No, he wouldn't admit it.
15-14. Shepard. Montross makes the steal. A chance to take the lead for the first time. No. Sullivan doesn't get the rebound. Williams picks it up. Good position for Carolina. Taken away by Shepard. And there's a Razorback player down out near midcourt.
I think that's Scotty Thurman, Vern. I can't recall what happened. I didn't see it.
North Carolina substitution, number 31, Brian Reese, number 5, Henry Rose, and number 33, Kevin Salvatore. For Arkansas in the game, number 12, Clint McDaniel, number 3, Warren.
Thurman apparently slipped away from the ball.
Also in the game for North Carolina, number 11, Scott Shepard.
And is down near the center of the court. Scotty Thurman, the freshman from Ruston, Louisiana.
Take a look at the left side of your screen. Here you see, and he takes a tumble right there, and still not really a solid look at what happened. Maybe he got poked in the eye or bumped in the eye. He seems to be a little dazed and will need to sit down for a while to get his bearings.
And they do need him. First team all Southeast Conference selection as a freshman, Scotty Thurman. leading scorer for the Razorbacks. And Elmer Martin, number 40, comes in. Michigan continues to lead George Washington late in that ball game. They're up by 4. And we'll keep you apprised of what's going on there. Number 3, Warren Lynn is in. Michigan's up by 5 with 1:03 remaining in that game. Martin kicks it over to the left side. The shot is short. And Kelvin Salvadori comes in. Kevin Salvadori, he's got the rebound.
That time Carolina was in a zone, which is a very effective defense for them because of their size inside and their quickness on the perimeter.
Foul is going to be against Arkansas. Scotty Thurman continues to get medical attention on the bench. 31, Roger Crawford is guilty of the foul. Michigan leads by 3 with 48 seconds to go. Here, North Carolina is looking for its first lead in the ball game. They trail by 1, 12:35 remaining first half.
Arkansas now showing a zone as well.
Back it comes to Reese.
2-3 trying to force the perimeter shot.
Scott Cherry's in the lineup, number 11. That's for 3 off the mark. Henrik Rodel. And here come the Razorbacks, number 12, Clint McDaniel. So both teams have gone to their bench. Lynn and McDaniel, along with Williamson, Martin, and Crawford for Arkansas. Martin doesn't want the shot. Gives it to McDaniel for 3. Clint McDaniel. And it's 18-14 Arkansas.
Very important that Arkansas knock down some perimeter shots because they really don't have anybody other than Williamson who can challenge Carolina inside.
There's a tussle for the ball, and Carolina's Scott Cherry touched it last. Time has been called with 11:37 to go first half. 18-14 Arkansas. Once again, here's Pat O'Brien.
All right, Vern, thank you. Get back to you in York. So 3 seconds left. Michigan will advance in the tournament. Let's send you back to Arkansas and North Carolina. Vern Lundquist and Clark Kellogg. Vern.
Okay, Pat, thanks. And here we've got 11:18 remaining in the first half. Razorbacks have the ball and a 4-point lead. They have led throughout, and they've gone to their bench. They're 9 deep now already in the ball game. Here's the pass inside to Corliss Williamson. He loses control, but touch last by Lynch, and it will be Arkansas to bring it in.
Corliss Williamson missed 13 games earlier this season because of a stress fracture in his foot, and actually had missed 4 or 5 weeks of preseason practice, so he's just rounding into form here and really is a force inside.
5 on the shot clock. Williamson, wonderful job of shielding the ball and drawing the foul from Henrik Rodel.
Tremendous catch, and then watch him use his body and wait for the contact from Rodel. See that? Protected it well, got to the cup and knocked it down. He is truly an outstanding player. Can score it inside, can pass it, an excellent rebounder, quick off his feet. But because he missed so much time with the injury, he's probably carrying about 10 to 14 extra LBs. And once he gets into top-notch condition, he's going to be fabulous.
Final score at Michigan, they win over George Washington. Vanderbilt Temple, the second game there. Here's Roger Crawford. And that was Derek Phelps who fouled that one up for Carolina. At the other end, Phelps will bring it back into a half-court set. Maybe. Montross. Warren Lynn for Arkansas. It's a 6-point Razorback lead.
Well, I tell you what, these Hogs have come out full of fire and intensity, not backing up a bit.
McDaniel, Martin, 2 more.
They are on their toes. No fear or surrender in the eyes of Arkansas.
Phelps. Underneath. Oh, boy. Brian Reese went down hard. Donald Williams will check back in now for the Tar Heels. He replaces Henrik Rodel. And Dwight Stewart comes back in for Corliss Williamson for the Razorbacks.
Well, in order for Arkansas to keep up the pace they like to play at, which is about 100 RPMs, they need to shuffle people in and out, and Nolan Richardson doing that. The key guys for them in their pressure, I think, are Daryl Hawkins and Robert Shepard, because they're so active with their hands, as is Corey Beck.
Montross shoots another. Lynch with the rebound. Stewart right in his face. And Crawford comes out for the Hogs. 3-on-1. McDaniel pulls up and hits the three.
The best time to shoot the three is when you've got numbers, spread out the defense, and take aim.
Williams, 2 for Carolina. 25-16. Lynn, that's stolen by Lynch. Six Arkansas turnovers. 25-18. McDaniel a little too hard. Now Shepard and Hawkins come back in along with Corey Beck. That's for the Razorbacks. And McDaniel will get a rest. Salvadori comes in for North Carolina. Boy, you need a stoplight at that scorer's bench.
And you need to keep your head and chin up. You can't dig into your popcorn or pizza, or you miss something.
25-18. 9 minutes to go first half. Back it comes to Williams. Montross of North Carolina fouled underneath. Arkansas Razorbacks hit 2 3-pointers to open the game to take a 6-0 lead. They have not trailed. North Carolina climbed back into it and got to within 1 at 15-14, but then the Razorbacks, who have kept an up-tempo game in the first 12 minutes, managed to run off an 11-point lead. They were up 25-14. Right now, Eric Montross of North Carolina is at the line, and he has just hit the 5th consecutive point for North Carolina. Thus far, Arkansas 58%, 5 of 7 from 3-point range. Shepard already in double digits with 10. But Montross's free throw makes it 6 in a row for Carolina, and that's the number. They trail by 5 now, 25-20.
Well, Arkansas doing just what they want to do. As you see Carolina in the zone, Scotty Thurman back and letting everybody know he's back.
Scotty Thurman went out with an apparent eye injury about 4 minutes ago. Got some attention, is back in the lineup. Now, you think Arkansas must keep a 94-foot game going?
No question about it, Vern. They've got to play it on roller skates, and so far they have.
That 3-pointer cuts into the lead, though. 28-23. The lead is 5. It has been Arkansas's kind of game in terms of tempo thus far. Shepard, nice give and go. Rebound, Stewart. No, it's Shepard and back to Hawkins. Now Beck spots up and will slow it down.
Sometimes you can out-rebound bigger people if you're quicker to the ball. As you look at three-point shooting, which has been huge for Arkansas, but their quickness a problem for North Carolina.
Inside the 3-point edge, Hawkins, no. Salvadori, one of the tall trees for Carolina. Here's Reese at the other end, a little awkward. And it's going to be a blocking foul on Arkansas.
Corey Beck has taken 45 charges this year as Reese goes to the rack. And clearly Beck there late and not square to the defender, and that is his 3rd personal foul. And he's the kind of guy, you look at his numbers and you wonder why Corey Beck is so valuable, but he does a lot of the little things. He takes charges, he deflects passes, he defends on the ball extremely well.
And now he's going to get a chance to rest as McDaniel comes back in. Corey Beck has fouled out 7 times this year. And Reese, Brian Reese, the junior from the Bronx, playing close to his old neighborhood, is at the line. 28-24. 11-point Arkansas lead has all but evaporated. The Tar Heels have cut it to 3. Struggle. They outlasted Virginia, and they won it by a 71-54 count. They will meet the winner of this game here Sunday afternoon. Right now it's McDaniel and Shepard, along with Thurman, Stewart, and Hawkins on the floor for Arkansas. Zone defense by Dean Smith's Tar Heels.
Well, that's one way you try to counteract quickness as you go to the zone. And because Carolina has this large lineup out there, it's not a bad strategy. Although you better make sure you get to the three-point shooter.
There's the pass and the kick out. McDaniel. Foul over the back. Hawkins, his first. That is the team 6.
Hawkins trying to come from the foul line area to get this missed shot by McDaniel. And clearly Lynch had the ball in position and drew the foul.
Now it's Williams along with Rodel, Sullivan, Lynch, and Montross on the floor for Carolina. George Lynch. Nope. Thurman got his own rebound. Yes! And this is now a 13-3 North Carolina run.
This is a strong take by Lynch. Beat the pressure with the dribble and then gets strong to the cup. Misses the initial shot. Stays with it. That's why he's been such a fabulous rebounder throughout his career. He never gives up on the ball, and he's very quick to miss shots.
Rebound is good. He came in tonight needing only 10 more career rebounds to pass Billy Cunningham as number 2 on the all-time North Carolina list. And we're tied at 28. The 11-point lead is history. 14-3 in the last 3 minutes. Shepard is off the mark. The putback is rejected by North Carolina. And Arkansas will get the ball to inbound. This is a Carolina team that everyone expected to find here tonight. It's an Arkansas team that few thought would be here at the beginning of the season.
That's right, but they played together and have really played with a lot of confidence of late, and their pressure has a tendency to wear on you throughout the course of the game.
That shot is off the mark. McDaniel gets it back. Arkansas got here by defeating Holy Cross 94-64, and then they wore down St. John's at the end of the game. North Carolina, of course, rolled in its 2 victories.
They've got to try to find Scotty Thurman for a perimeter shot. He's their best weapon from behind the arc.
Well, he comes to the right side now. See if they can get the ball over to it. There he is. There's Thurman. Nice call. Nice shot.
Beautiful shot.
Sullivan in transition. 31-30. Arkansas. There's Dwight Stewart.
Big fella's got a stroke burn, and he also has a pretty good handle. He's a pretty good ball handler and very confident in what he can do offensively.
He's got a pair of pretty good handles. Halfway up.
I'll leave that one alone, partner.
33-30, 5:05 to go. Stripped by Shepard, foul is called. North Carolina comes in 30-4. Arkansas 22-8. And now Dean Smith goes to his bench for 3 substitutions. Salvadori's back in. Derek Phelps is in. Sullivan, Lynch, and Rodel.
One of the things that Arkansas wants to do is wear down Phelps, but nobody averages more than 30 minutes a game on this Carolina team, so it's really tough to wear down any one player because that man, Dean Smith, will play all of his guys. He'll play 9 or 10 guys double-digit minutes and keep everybody fresh.
Lynch gets 1 of 2, and Salvadori's going to get called for the foul. That's his first, and only the team 4th. Now Roger Crawford comes back off the bench, number 31 for the Razorbacks. And Corliss Williamson, number 34, enters the fray. Corliss Williamson is really a key to Arkansas's hopes tonight.
He really is, because he can play inside. He's got good bounce off the floor, good hands, and can really do some damage inside if he catches it in position.
Here's Crawford and McDaniel will fill up for the three. Tracks it down and gets the rebound.
Again, the long three, when it's missed, leads to long rebounds, and Arkansas's guards are excellent board men.
Thurman, no. Crawford for the Razorbacks. Hawkins gets it.
That's quickness, and knowing that the rebounds are going to be long, North Carolina needs their guards to wade in and pick up those long boards.
Oh, they got him for the foul, and Nolan Richardson heads toward the exit. Oh, brother. First foul on Williamson.
There you take a look at Nolan Richardson. Sometimes you've got to laugh to keep from crying. He felt this team had a pilfer and was on the way to the other end. And that whistle was a tad late. Arkansas had already gotten possession when the whistle was blown.
Phelps will go to the line. George Lynch checks back in now for Pat Sullivan for North Carolina. Those of you who weren't with us at the beginning of the ball game, we were talking about the 1 hour dictated workout that each of the teams has here yesterday. Most of them use it just as a shoot-around. Not so Nolan Richardson.
No, they stepped on the gas pedal from the time they got out here on the court. High octane and high intensity.
Eric Montross will come back in for North Carolina now. The 7-foot junior from Indianapolis. Look at this free throw edge. 6 of 10 for Carolina.
Always the game within the game. And that's one of the things Arkansas has to keep from becoming a bigger disadvantage, and that's free throw attempts by North Carolina.
Well, we have 4:23 remaining. It's 35-31 Arkansas.
NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
35-31. Let's go down to Andrea Joyce.
Well, Vern, the Arkansas Razorbacks have the most powerful fan in the country. In fact, President Bill Clinton even asked about tickets for tonight's game. He didn't make the trip, but we talked to the White House earlier today, and they said that he is definitely watching on television, even invited a couple of friends to join him. Now, Arkansas coach Nolan Richardson figures that his team has a lot in common with the president. When Bill Clinton first started running for president, nobody gave him a chance to win. Nolan Richardson told me he knows exactly what that feels like, Vern.
Okay, Andrea. The Razorbacks have led throughout. There is Nolan Richardson in his 8th year as the head coach of the Razorbacks. Some feel that he has had more fun, Clark, coaching this bunch than any team he's had at Fayetteville.
Well, the improvement they've made during the season, the adversity they've had to deal with, especially with Corliss Williamson out, and all he lost from last year, certainly makes it quite rewarding. And he's a coach that doesn't get enough credit for how hard and how well his team plays. Everybody looks at them as being somewhat helter-skelter, but this is organized chaos.
That was an organized dunk. 38-33. North Carolina, the #1 seed, has not led in this ball game. Hawkins, no. Rebound, Reese. Arkansas jumped out to a 6-0 edge. Carolina came back to trail by 1 at 15-14. But then Arkansas jumped out by 11. Now Montross with a putback. You think he's improved immeasurably since he was a high school student?
Off the charts. I mean, he's gotten stronger, and he gained tremendous confidence when he went over and competed against the Dream Team this summer on the U.S. Select Team. And he recognizes what his strengths and weaknesses are. He's kind of a throwback to the old low post players, and that his game is kind of wash and wear. It's low maintenance. Jump hooks, putbacks, box out. I mean, it's nothing flashy, but it's oh so effective.
Well, he's got an early 60s haircut.
Yeah, he certainly has that look.
Scotty Thurman is loading up, and then he does kind of a casual dunk.
Nothing spectacular there. They'll still mark up two. And all his boys at home will say, nice jam.
40-35, 2:20 to go first half. Field goal percentage, North Carolina 50, Arkansas 48. But it has been Arkansas's tempo. Carolina gets 2 more. Lynch.
Carolina just continues to play, though. They haven't really been rattled at all. And Arkansas has given them a pretty good punch here in the first half.
They're going to get Lynch coming from behind. And that's going to get Dean Smith up off the bench.
Dean wanted a hook on Williamson. How about that record?
Second leading winning coach all time now. He passed Henry Iba earlier this season. Trails only Adolph Rupp. And of course, the thorn about which Dean is tired of being reminded is the one NCAA championship that came in '82. But this is their 13th consecutive year in the round of 16 in the NCAA tournament. Here's Warren Lynn, number 3, checking in for the Razorbacks now. 40-37, 1:57 to go. First half of play. 5th meeting ever between Arkansas. Oh! And they kick it back outside to Shepard.
Boy, good recovery by North Carolina that time.
Stewart with the shove. That's his 3rd. He becomes the 2nd Razorback to pick up 3 fouls. Corey Beck has 3 as well. But unlike Beck, at least for the moment, Stewart's going to stay in. Now Salvadori is out. Montross, Sullivan, Phelps, Lynch, and Williams on the floor for North Carolina.
The free throw game, a huge part of North Carolina's success. They get to the line an awful lot, far more than the opposition. And that's pretty much been the case here tonight, as they've been able to maintain contact, even though Arkansas has knocked down the three-point shot pretty well.
7 of 11 from the line now for Carolina, 0 of 1. And George Lynch with 13 points already. Stewart on the bench with those 3 fouls. Elmer Martin, number 40, back in. It's Martin who gets it to Shepard, Lynn, Williamson, and Crawford. Martin. Williams with the foul.
Got a piece of the elbow there. You don't want to foul the jump shooter, especially when it's a guy that you'd like to see shooting the perimeter shot.
Martin goes to the free throw. Sophomore from Memphis. He has not been there that often. He's only 5 of 16 from the line throughout the season.
Take a look at Dwight Stewart. Very skilled offensive player. And similar in build to Oliver Miller.
Very similar. 41-38. North Carolina heavily favored. Williams. That ties it up. By Williams. And Ted Hillary makes the call.
How about that agility by Ted Hillary?
Showed me something.
He was on his way down and still had the presence of mind to find out who knocked it out. Take a look at this. Dodged the ball, got to his knees, and recovered with the right call.
And with authority.
5-star officiating.
There's Ted Hillary. And now it'll be Warren Lynn to bring it inbounds. Roger Crawford for Arkansas. Tied at 41. Off North Carolina, Arkansas ball.
Well, as we wind down this half, Arkansas needs to get a basket or two. They've been parked.
George Lynch with the foul.
On 41 for a while. And Lynch with the reach in. Boy, it just looked like some incidental contact there. And Lynch kind of felt that way too.
That's Lynch's 2nd foul. He is the first player for Carolina to get a 2nd foul. Now Salvadori comes in. And Elmer Martin, who had shot only 16 free throws all season, will go to the line for the 3rd time in this game.
For Arkansas, Elmer Martin at the line. He'll be shooting 1 and 1.
1 and 1. Gets another. Coming up at half halftime. The road to the Final Four. We go back across the Hudson to Pat O'Brien, Mike Francesa, and Digger Phelps. Their comments not only on this game, but what happened out in Seattle earlier tonight, where Michigan held off George Washington 72-64. Here earlier tonight, Cincinnati advanced with a hard-fought victory over Virginia. Score doesn't reflect that. They won it big at the end. Here's Reese. Montross.
The big fella there showing you his ability to run the floor as well.
Roger Crawford guarded by Derek Phelps. Taken away. North Carolina's chance for his first lead tonight. Pulling the trigger on it. There it is. Brian Reese. And a foul is called on Derek Phelps. Points in the paint, Clark, a decided edge. Not a surprise, really, for North Carolina.
That's where North Carolina needs to do their damage, and they've done it effectively. The three-point shooting, especially early this half, has been what's allowed Arkansas to maintain contact. The pace has been what they wanted. Carolina, though, has showed tremendous poise in just continuing to play, not being rattled, not being thwarted by the run that Arkansas made early, and they've been able to get the lead by virtue of just staying with what they do best, which is throw it inside and continue to play hard at the defensive end.
McDaniel gets the first free throw. And we'll have this one to tie. At halftime, we're going to also take you back out to Seattle, where Temple and Vanderbilt are getting ready to tip off 46 minutes after the hour. That's about 3.5 minutes from right now. So you'll get to see the first moments of that ball game. And then, of course, tomorrow, doubleheader for you from the Southeast. It's going to be Kentucky and Florida State. And from St. Louis in the Midwest, Indiana and Kansas. This celebration of college basketball continues. Phelps. Arkansas. 2 seconds. 1. No! A well-played first 20 minutes. That's the end of the first half. We are notched at 45-45.
NCAA Basketball Championship Regional Semifinal game is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. The American Express card. Don't leave home without it. And by ITT. When it comes to building business at ITT, we're adding more than just our name.
North Carolina Tar Heels had to come from 11 down to tie it up at halftime. That's where we are right now, 45-45, and we go down to Andrea Joyce.
Well, Vern, Arkansas isn't really that concerned about letting that 11-point lead slip away. The coaches feel that their game plan is working. They're playing at a pace they like. They also believe that if they can keep North Carolina off the line and improve their offensive rebounding, they'll get that lead back. Vern?
All right, Andrea, 45 all. Clark, your assessment of the first half.
Well, I think exactly what the coaches from Arkansas said is what they need to do. The free throw game is a huge part of what's allowed North Carolina to come back from that 11-point deficit. And also, Arkansas actually out-rebounded North Carolina in that first half, but they've got to do a better job of keeping North Carolina from getting the second shot.
That's a bit of a shock, isn't it, the rebounding?
Yeah, it really is. A lot of the long rebounds, though, Arkansas was able to get because their guards were a little quicker to the basketball in that first half.
Eric Montross leads the Tar Heels back on the floor. Donald Williams, George Lynch, Derek Phelps, and Brian Reese complete the quintet for North Carolina, the top seed in the East.
I really think, excuse me, Vern, but I think Arkansas has to try to get Scotty Thurman off early this half.
Williams, Phelps, Reese, and one more chance. North Carolina with that expected advantage in the paint.
Yeah, look at those graped up basketballs. that means that North Carolina doing an awful lot of damage in the paint, and because of that, they shot better than 50% from the floor.
Brian Reese goes to the free throw line. This could be Carolina's first lead tonight. I beg your pardon, they did have a short lead late in the half. They fell behind by as many as 11 at 25-14. And they're up by 1. Derek Phelps grabs the loose rebound. Lynch looks underneath for Montross. Settles for Williams, who has 11. And that ball goes to Shepard. Here's Arkansas running. Thurman. Nifty.
Honey to the cup between two Tar Heels.
At the other end, it's Phelps. Played much of the first half. Here's Williams for 3. No. Reese. And he's going to go back to the free throw line.
Here you take a look at Scotty Thurman, just going to take it himself. Beats Lynch off the dribble and then just goes up over Donald Williams. Pretty one-on-one move by the freshman Scotty Thurman.
Brian Reese back at the line. He's 68% free throw shooter for the year. 3 of 4 tonight.
Well, the best offense so far for North Carolina in this game has been to get it up on the glass and then chase it down when they miss. It's one thing to have size, but their size is active. So they're keeping a lot of balls alive and getting to the offensive glass very effectively here.
And Reese misses 2. Do we have a lane violation? I think we do. Yep.
Lane violation.
There you look at Montross and Corliss Williamson, and he clearly was in there a bit early.
Doesn't help.
That's the hat trick.
47-46. Shepard.
Well, he got off to a blazing start and really hasn't scored since early in the game.
Thurman misses on the 3. And here comes Carolina. 47-46. We played 1 minute and 10 seconds of the second half. Winner gets Cincinnati. Reese puts the Tar Heels back on top.
Well, he has such an explosive first step to the goal.
9 points for Reese, and there is a foul on Donald Williams.
Here you take a look at Montross, has it up, pushes it ahead. Now watch Reese get to the middle and then explode to the rim. See, he gets such great elevation once he gets in there that if you let him in there, he's either going to score or get fouled or both.
Robert Shepard, the senior from Chicago, wearing number 20, guarded by Brian Reese. 48-47 North Carolina. Williamson.
Big fella. Showing you he can put it on the deck. And then tremendous body control once he got into the paint to avoid the defender that was looking to take the charge.
49-48. Reese. They kick it back outside to Williams for 3. Air ball. Word from Andrea Joyce is now that Robert Shepard had 3 stitches in his cheek at halftime because of the collision that took place in the first half. McDaniel. Thurman. Yes.
He can really create off the dribble.
At the other end, it's Lynch. Saves it and puts it in.
Or Carolina just keeps coming at you, doing a nice job attacking the pressure. They're not content just to get it into the half court. They want to push it ahead to score.
McDaniel chases down the long rebound off the missed 3. That shot is going to be short and off the top of the backboard. It'll be North Carolina's ball. Pat Sullivan will check in now for Brian Reese. Number 3, Sullivan, the junior from New Jersey. And there are the stitches for Shepard. Phelps and Montross, along with Lynch, Sullivan, and Williams for North Carolina.
Arkansas back into their man-to-man. They showed a little bit of zone in the first half.
This one's going to be called on McDaniel.
think they signaled an intentional foul.
Arkansas foul is number
Did
12,
indeed.
McDaniel, his second and team third. Richardson called an intentional foul.
Take a look here as Montross.
North Carolina's George Lynch has 2 shots.
Actually, I still couldn't see it. They called the foul on McDaniel. Montross set a pick on Hawkins, but McDaniel was whistled for the foul. And Nolan Richardson can't quite figure it out either.
And Lynch gets both free throws to put Carolina back on top. I think Nolan's still trying to get an explanation.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see it from that angle, but to be whistled as an intentional foul, the official must have felt as though McDaniel just grabbed George Lynch.
No call there. They look inside for Montross, who establishes a fairly solid foundation.
Yeah, you can't move him, and not only is he strong, but he has a nice soft touch.
North Carolina by 3, 16:30 to go in the game. It's McDaniel and Thurman, Williamson and Shepard, and bodies flying everywhere.
Here you take a look at Montross getting anchored in the paint. Nothing Corliss Williamson can do about it. At 7 feet tall, he keeps the ball high, and there you see how dramatic the difference has been in the paint tonight.
That is not an unexpected result.
No, it really isn't. And Arkansas really knows they can't play toe-to-toe with North Carolina, so they need the pace to be fast, and they need to knock down the perimeter shot, and for the most part, they've been able to do that.
Now McDaniel's at the line after Lynch picked up his 3rd foul. And Henrik Rodel is going to come back in for Donald Williams for the Tar Heels. McDaniel gets one more free throw. 54-52 North Carolina. They've been at the line 10 more times, have converted 4 more. That was not going to fall. And Phelps grabs it for North Carolina. Lynch for Montross. That's 2. 56-52. And one gets a sense now that it's going North Carolina's way.
Well, they're able to get it inside to Montross the last 2 possessions. And that typically can energize you defensively.
Shepard. Well, now one game.
Rally record.
Yeah, indeed. Here's Rodel. Almost lost it. One thing Arkansas has not done tonight is force a large number of turnovers. That one comes right into the hands of Sullivan, and he's fouled. Oh, travel, beg your pardon. Traveling on Carolina. Time is called.
If you depend on your truck to last, here's news you should know.
Clarify why that intentional foul was called on Clint McDaniel. The one on the right at the bottom of the basket is the holding of the jersey. That's McDaniel holding George Lynch's jersey. Although Montross was being held by Daryl Hawkins as well, that was whistled the intentional foul. And Montross, actually Lynch got 2 free throws that time.
56-55. McDaniel and Shepard in the backcourt now for the Razorbacks, along with Hawkins, Corliss Williamson, and Scotty Thurman.
Well,
Go ahead.
Carolina now in the zone, so that means you got to swing the ball side to side and be ready to pull the trigger on the perimeter jump shot.
There's Thurman, and they hurry over to double him. McDaniel. Rebound, Montross. In trouble, foul, McDaniel. Montross with 6 rebounds in the game now.
Razorback foul number 12, Clint McDaniel. His 3rd, team's 4th.
That's the 3rd foul on McDaniel and the 4th team foul. So Nolan Richardson goes back to his bench, and Corey Beck, who has sat out all of this half and most of the latter stages of the first half with 3 fouls, is back in the lineup. Scoreless so far tonight, number 14. At the other end, Henrik Rodel with a beautiful pass. And it's 58-55. Winner of this game gets Cincinnati here on Sunday afternoon. And the winner of that one goes to the Final Four in New Orleans. night. Cincinnati beat Virginia here. Michigan outlasted George Washington in Seattle, and Vanderbilt and Temple are playing the second game there. And coming up tomorrow after the Division II championship game between Troy State and California Bakersfield, a doubleheader for you. Here's the baseline jumper. No, Montross, 7 rebounds now. And they're going to get Corey Beck, and that's 4 fouls on Beck. Well, the Seattle game, the first one, Michigan, George Washington, terrific. This is a dandy game, and tomorrow, 2 potentially outstanding games.
Well, you've got the 1 and 3 seed in the Southeast and the 1 and 2 in the Midwest. Kansas beat Indiana earlier this year, but Calvert Chaney was outstanding again last night in a big game. 32 for him, and pretty much single-handedly took over late. And Kentucky is on an absolute drum roll.
Yes.
They are drumming everybody.
Reese. George Lynch. And the lead is 5 for North Carolina. Rejected by Montross. Lynch. 2-on-2, come back and set up the half court. They're going to get Williamson.
Well, Carolina really exerting themselves on the offensive glass. Take a look at the sweet move here by Reese. He won't get the shot, but look at Lynch. Great timing and the follow. Then Montross at the other end, denying Darrell Hawkins on the baseline drive. And the size of North Carolina really starting to wear down the Razorbacks.
North Carolina.
This is a North Carolina team that came in with a 9-rebound per game edge. And they're facing an Arkansas team that was in a deficit situation rebounding. They were down 4 to the opposition over the course of the season.
Well, they're not a very big team. And quickness can only take you so far in terms of rebounding the basketball.
Now Scott Cherry's in. There's a quickness from Scotty Thurman. And Crawford will shoot a couple. Donald Williams guilty of the foul. There's a 2-rebound edge for North Carolina at the half. It's now 10.
I'd call that domination.
Yep.
In the first 7 minutes of this half. But nevertheless, Arkansas only down 5. So if they can do a better job on their defensive board, and then they've got to knock down some shots because Carolina's not allowing them second shot opportunities. So that means you've got to knock down your initial looks.
Roger Crawford rattles the cage and gets it to stay in. And he'll shoot a second.
There you take a look at Nolan Richardson. Dapperly attired rather. See, it's important for Arkansas to score because that way they can get into their pressure. If they don't get hooped, it's really difficult for them to get into the pressure they want to apply.
Stewart got poked in the eye. Battling for the rebound, and he got a finger in the eyeball. Derek Phelps comes back in for North Carolina.
Here you take a look at it, the right of your screen, Montross and Dwight Stewart battling for the orange. And then there was the rake across the face by Montross. Accidental.
60-46, the North Carolina team top-seeded, ranked #1 for a couple of weeks earlier this season. And now Reese puts it in, and the lead is 6.
Arkansas gambled there. They went to the zone. The baseline defender gambled and gave Reese a lane to the basket.
12:38 to go in the ball game. Winner gets Cincinnati on Sunday. Crawford and Shepard and Thurman and Williamson and Stewart for Arkansas. Good job by Salvadori to get out in defense. He's back out there again.
Shot blocker. Got the long arms and the good timing.
They're trying to free Thurman. Now they bring him top of the key and working left side. That one doesn't go.
Easy, baby. Don't get in explanations now, big fella. I hear what you say.
That was on Montross, his second. And the team fourth. Elmer Martin comes back in for Stewart. And Williamson goes to the line. Carolina on a 9-point edge now in the last 5 minutes.
Now you take a look at Dwight Stewart being looked over after taking that hand in the eye.
Lynch from Montross. And Williamson shoots one more as they continue to take care of Stewart. Got them both. The lead is 4, 12-12 remaining in the ball game.
Arkansas staying in the 2-3 zone. If they're going to play the zone, they have to force the perimeter shot and then rebound the basketball. Good position is more important than trying to gamble for the steal.
Lynch, Salvadori. And it'll be Arkansas's ball. 11:40 remaining in regulation time.
Pat O'Brien in New York City, Arkansas, North Carolina. You see your score there, 62-58. Meantime, they've gone to the halftime over in Seattle and Temple and Vandy. Vanderbilt leads 24-18. You'll see the finish of that game a little later this evening. Meantime, let's go back to the East Regional Semifinal and Vern Lundquist and Clark Kellogg. Vern.
Okay, Patrick, we've got 11:27 remaining, a 4-point edge that just about was cut to 2. And Arkansas tries to save it. They do. Shepard. Back it goes to the Razorbacks. 62-58. Arkansas one field goal in the last 6 minutes.
I think Corliss Williamson can do some damage inside. Lynch is trying to defend him. If he catches it in good position, he's got enough game in there to score or draw foul. Easy, guys. Easy now.
Martin looks inside for Williamson. 15 on the shot clock. Taken away from Montross. North Carolina ball. North Carolina with a huge height advantage had out-rebounded Arkansas by only 2 at the half, but in this half they have out-rebounded them now 11-4. And as a result, they've broken a 45-all tie and lead at 62-58 with 10.5 remaining in regulation time. Donald Williams, number 21, is joined by Phelps, Brian Reese, number 31, Montross, and Lynch for Carolina. Lynch for 2.
Well, how about the pass by Phelps? He does such a great job of getting the ball to the right guy at the right time.
The answer comes in the form of a 3-pointer by Roger Crawford. Phelps. Oh! What a dish. Lynch with a putback.
Boy, they just keep coming, Vern. They're like flowing water. They just don't go away, Carolina.
There's another steal.
They do a great job of staying within themselves.
Martin got away with a hook. But another steal now, an errant pass. And all of a sudden, turnover-itis has hit Arkansas. Loose ball, kicked back to Williams. Up and in. The lead is 7, 68-61. Razorbacks have really gotten cold. The tempo of the game has changed dramatically in favor of the guys in blue and white. .11 remaining in regulation. The North Carolina team tied at the half 45-all, now leads by 7. This is a Carolina team that has outscored Arkansas by 10 in the last 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
They've done it with solid defense, and rebounding the ball at both ends of the floor. George Lynch has been fabulous on the offensive glass for Carolina.
Martin gets it to Williamson. You like that?
Yeah, I think he can do work inside, but they've got to get it to him deep in the paint area. He's got good enough size and quickness to make things happen in there.
Sullivan, Phelps, Lynch. That pass, Martin almost broke it up. Sullivan has it rejected by Williamson. Held ball, possession arrow, Arkansas.
Big time play by Corliss Williamson. The young fella exploding off the floor and denying Sullivan the opportunity. Here you take a look. When you're north of 240, you shouldn't be able to hop like that. But Corliss Williamson has good bounce off the floor. And I think you go right back to him. The high-low action work. Martin to Williamson. See, Lynch can't handle him if he's behind him. If you get it to the high post, Martin can turn and maybe dump it inside, although Montross now will clog up an awful lot of that paint area.
Yeah, at 7 foot, he will.
And he's got the wingspan of a condor.
There's the extra pass. That interior passing has paid big dividends the last couple of times down for Arkansas. Sullivan kicks it back out. Williams for three. Rattles out. Williamson with a rebound. And Arkansas has a chance to tie or pull within one on this trip down the floor.
Well, I think you got to peek inside again. Phelps trying to deal with Williamson. Now Montross steps in and covers the middle area. Now you've softened up the belly of North Carolina the last two possessions. This would be a good time maybe to get it inside, kick it out for the spot up three.
Arkansas has used the three effectively in this ball game. They kick it left side. Shot clock now at 12.
Boy, he can take him off the dribble.
Beck, shot clock at 5. Rejected and knocked out of bounds, and there are 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Take a look at Corliss Williamson working inside. Nice find there by Beck, and then the finish.
They've got to take the shot in a hurry. Buzzer beater. Elmer Martin. And the margin is 1. Phelps. Williams. North Carolina ball.
Williams has struggled, but he's got to continue to shoot that shot. That's his shot. He's just had a tough time finding the bottom of the net. But shooters must continue to shoot, although Williams won't have a chance from the bench.
Going to get a rest now. Pat Sullivan also out. Rodel is in. And here's Montross with Reese, Rodel, Phelps, and Lynch. Montross. He'll shoot 2. Martin fouled it.
Well, good recognition that time by Lynch. Montross going to come into your picture. You can't miss 0-0. And he immediately turns and goes to the rack, keeping the ball high. Martin had to go through his body to block it and pick up the foul.
He's really been accurate at the free throw line in the last 5 games. He is now 32 of 38.
And you love to see a guy as big as he is that's going to get the ball in the paint as much as he does, shoot his free throws well.
And I say 32 of 88, 38, make it 32 of 39 since the ACC tournament began, the last 5 games. At the other end, a 2-point game now. Here's Martin. Oh, what a pass. Oh, what a pass.
Great look by Martin and a good catch and squeeze by Williamson. The high-low game making it happen for the Hogs.
We were tied at the half at 45. We're tied at 69 with 6:12 to go. Lynch blocked by Martin, and Arkansas with a chance to reclaim the lead. They were up by 11 midway through the first half.
And they're doing this without Scotty Thurman, who's going to check in, and he's a big shot taker and maker.
Beck. Skip pass back to Beck. They'll reload.
Well, I think you got to look at Corliss. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Shot clock under 10.
Gotta get busy here.
Martin. Rodel with a rebound. And here comes Brian Reese at the other end. All the way and in.
He is so explosive when he gets within 15 feet of the hole because he can get to the basket with one bounce.
We near the 5-minute mark. It's a 2-point North Carolina edge. Winner gets Cincinnati here on Sunday. Coming up tomorrow, Kentucky, Florida State, followed by Kansas and Indiana. They peer in at Williamson.
Yeah, but see, now they're putting themselves in a position where they have to fight the shot clock. See, they had it on neutral too long.
Beck. Loose ball, Lynch. And they're going to call Williamson with the foul. Third foul on Williamson.
Corliss Williamson, his third, team's eighth. Into the game for Arkansas, number 30,
Scotty Thurman checks in, and I think you won't see Arkansas in such a desperate position with the shot clock now because he is a creator on the perimeter, is Scotty Thurman.
There's Lynch, who's going to get some. Is he bleeding from the elbow?
Yeah, I think he took a skid.
Yep, has to come out of the game.
As he went after that loose ball. Boy, what a game he's played.
Well, this is bad news for the Cunningham family, but Billy Cunningham is now the third leading rebounder in North Carolina history. George Lynch has grabbed 10 boards tonight.
Here we go.
This is his 14th double-double of the season. And at the line, Williams.
Well, anytime a player is bleeding, he has to be removed from the game until the bleeding is stopped, and he's able to re-enter.
Williams gets 2, and the lead is 4. 4:22 remaining in regulation. The top-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels, 17-1 at one point this season. Their only loss at that time was to Michigan by 1 point. They then proceeded to lose a couple. And, oh, mercy.
So strong and such soft hands. He's really stepped it up here in the last 3 or 4 minutes for Arkansas.
The lead is 2 for North Carolina, 45 all at the half. 73-71 with 3:50 to go.
Well, I just think Corliss Williamson doing all of this despite missing more than half the season, well, about half of the season in games, but he missed a lot of the preseason conditioning work. So he's not nearly at 100% conditioning-wise, and still showing you marvelous hands and good feet inside.
Shot clock at 5. Williams. Williamson. Rebound, Arkansas. And they can tie or take the lead on this trip down.
Well, I think
McDaniel and Beck in the backcourt.
you look inside the Williamson, but Scotty Thurman is the guy that can make a play for you in this situation.
3:02 to go. Regulation time. Reese guards Beck. Thurman pops out, guarded by Sullivan. Shot clock under 10. Shot clock at 3. Not the shot they wanted. It did not hit the rim. That's a violation.
Yeah, if it didn't hit the rim, I thought it got a piece of the iron.
Ted Hillary made the call and said no, Carolina ball. Time has been called. Side points and rebounds, but the bench points belong to Arkansas. 39-2. Corliss Williamson with 16 of those. And we have 2:32 remaining. 73-71 after that clock violation, shot clock violation by Arkansas. Did not hit the rim. Here's Phelps and Williams along with Montross, Lynch, who's back in the lineup, and Brian Reese. Starting 5 on the floor for North Carolina.
Well, North Carolina only has committed 14 fouls while Arkansas is already in the penalty, so any common foul leads to free throws for North Carolina. The Razorbacks have a way to go before they'll be shooting on common fouls.
Arkansas also has only 1 timeout left. North Carolina has all 3. Williams. Yes. A dagger. 75-71, 1:48 to go.
Let's see if Arkansas can get a shot up without fighting the shot clock. That's been their problem the last 3 possessions.
There's Goodman. Phelps. Lynch. Offense.
Boy, Beck with a pretty good flop job and a scream and holler. Take a look at this. Good hustle by Lynch to retrieve it, and then there you see, you could actually see his mouth open, and he screamed and hollered, and that certainly aided his cause.
Lynch has 4. Salvadori comes back in with Rodel. Montross is out, and so is Williams. Lynch continues playing with 4.
You don't need a 3 here unless it's a good look. You need a good, quick basket, though. You don't want to use too much time here.
Has this deliberateness been a product of North Carolina's defense, do you think?
To a degree, but I think Arkansas has pretty much been on their heels after they had success attacking it inside with a nice high-low pass.
Didn't need the 3, but they'll take it.
Certainly, if you get it to go down, you've got to love it. And now you don't need a foul. You need to play good D and force Carolina to get 2 points at best, because there's still a 15-second difference between game clock and shot clock.
Darrell Hawkins had the last 3. Carolina up by 1. Timeout remaining. North Carolina with 2. Team fouls 8-5. The possession arrow favors North Carolina. 51.7 seconds to go, and the Tar Heels lead by 1.
The thing you have to watch here is if Arkansas plays good D without fouling, they must rebound the basketball.
Backdoor Williams. Donald Williams hits the backdoor shot. 77-74 North Carolina. 33 seconds remaining. Arkansas with only 1 timeout left. Robert Shepard, the senior from Chicago.
Well, he leaves his feet here and gets caught in the air. Lynch, by being 6'8", really able to cover up any passing lane. Now the Hogs have to foul.
Donald Williams with the back door, made the layup. Then Lynch, who's had a brilliant game with the defensive job on Shepard. And 21.5 seconds remaining with Carolina on top. Williams has, excuse me, Clark.
Another example of how size has really paid dividends for North Carolina.
Salvadori checks in, another of the 7-footers, and Donald Williams, who has scored the last 6 points, is on the line. George Lynch, who's playing with 4 fouls, checks out and sits down.
Arkansas substitution number 12, McDaniel. Replacing
Corey Beck checks out for the Razorbacks. And Williams at the line. Sophomore from Garner, North Carolina. Take a look at the backdoor play.
Look at the spacing. Beck committed to the pass out to the wing, and then Donald Williams got the nice speed. I think that was Lynch who made the pass, was it not?
Yes. No good. Williams shakes it down, or Reese does. Foul on McDaniel, and Williams will shoot again. McDaniel picks up his 4th foul. Winner of this one takes on Cincinnati on Sunday afternoon. We've got doubleheader action for you tomorrow. First game, Florida State and Kentucky. That's from Charlotte. Second game, Kansas and Indiana from St. Louis. Temple leads Vanderbilt early second half. And as soon as this one's over, we're going to take our entire audience back to Seattle for the conclusion of that ball game. Williams gets them both. Dean Smith says, for heaven's sakes, no foul, no foul.
Play good, D. Make them use a little clock.
Williams, 22 points. Nope. Montross. Carolina's going to advance. Salvadori to Montross. Tar Heels win. But it was a well-played game.
Size and strength inside. Ultimately the difference for North Carolina.
The Razorbacks wind up their season 22-9. North Carolina advances to the Elite Eight. Seating committee did a pretty decent job in the East. It's number 1 against number 2 for the right to go to the Final Four. The Chevrolet players of the game are George Lynch of North Carolina and Corliss Williamson of Arkansas. Cincinnati waits for North Carolina. That game coming up Sunday afternoon. Final score 80-74. And right now, let's go back across the Hudson, our New York studios, and Pat O'Brien.
All right, Vern and Clark, good job tonight. We'll see you over the weekend. Let's take you right out to Seattle now without any further ado. It's a 31-20.